Patterson here, and today we are going to be talking about how to slay an event as a vendor. So when it comes to events, we're talking about craft fairs, we're talking about vendor shows, we're talking about anywhere that you set up to sell product, right? Or to promote your service. So in order to talk about this, I made it really easy for us and I created 7 P's, right? 7 P's that we're going to focus on. So the 7 P's that we have are product display, your sales pitch, presence, pricing, payment, making sure you're prepared in advance, and promotion, right? So let's start with the first one, your product display. I think that every new vendor runs into this. The question of, how do I set up my display? Well, here's the thing. Your display needs to be clean. It needs to be organized. Your products, including the labeling, the packaging, and everything needs to pop, and it needs to invite people over. So what that means is that you want to have a tablecloth. You want to have professional signage. You can get that made at Vistaprint. You can get that made at a local printing store. You can also get that made at a local office supply store, Office Depot, just different things like that in order to make sure that you have professional signage. Also, you may want to have some type of freebies in order to invite people over to say, oh, well, she has this, and once you get them in, then you want to get them, specifically for the sale, right? Which brings me to point number 2, which is your sales pitch. Make sure that before you ever step foot in a building as a vendor, that you have your sales pitch together. You want to have a 5-second elevator speech, you want to have a 10-second elevator speech, you want to have a 30-second speech, right? Because these events have a lot of people coming in, and the more that you gain their attention, the longer they may stay at your booth, right? And so with that being said, you want to know why you're in business. You want to make sure you have a clear understanding of what you sell. You want to have a clear understanding mentally of your pricing also, right? And so that when people come, you can say, hey, this is a family-owned business, or I did this because I wanted to help, level up the economy. The next thing you want to work on is presence, right? So presence means you want to be at your space. You want to either have yourself or an assistant there at all times. You want to make sure that you're smiling, that you stand in front of your table. You have no idea how many times I go to events and I see people sitting behind their tables, hunched over, just kind of waiting for people to come. No, don't let people walk past your table. Invite them in. Say, hey, how are you? Have you heard about my product? Do you know about the things that I'm doing, right? And give them the information. Invite them in. Almost hold their hands to get them in. People are prone to browsing and not necessarily always purchasing. When it comes to food, they may purchase a little bit more, but they are really, really prone to browsing because people want to hold on to their dollars, right? And so what you want to do is you want to get them closer to you, and you want to encourage them and help them know, more about your business and what you have to offer. So far we've talked about your product display, your sales pitch, and your presence. The 4th thing that we're going to talk about is pricing. When you're at an event, you want to make sure that your pricing is clear. Have your pricing either on labels on each of the separate items, or you can have a pricing sign on the top of your display. Just make sure that it's really easy for people to see what your pricing is. People may not always have the opportunity to talk to you. Sometimes those events get really busy, and in the event that you're engaging another customer, they can still actually see what the prices are. Some people also just kind of want to help themselves, right? They don't want necessarily to have big conversations and long conversations with the vendor. And in that case, just make sure that the pricing is available. And on that same sign, make sure you have your payment options available, which brings us to point number 5, which is payment options. When we talk about payment options, you want to make sure that you offer a variety of payment options at an event. This includes cash app, some type of way to take a credit card, and maybe checks if you want to take checks also. I take whatever anybody is going to pay, and you don't want to turn any money away. So just make sure you have all those things available. Also, make sure that you know how to work those things, right? So if you're taking a swipe or a cash app or whatever, make sure you know your cash app name. Make sure you know how to work, the swipe machine and everything. Make sure that it's working properly before you actually get there. That will help you just become more and more successful at that event. Also, when it comes to cash, what I advise is that you have a safe place to store your cash, and that you also have change before you actually make it to the event. Who knows? That first customer may come with a $50 bill and you have a $20 product, right? So you want to make sure that you have cash on hand. That may mean stopping by a store before the day of the event, just to make sure that you can actually pick up some cash. You know, a lot of us don't carry cash, but you can actually get some before the event. Which brings me to my sixth point. My sixth point is to prepare in advance. Oh my gosh, vendor events have so many things happening, and it's really good to have some type of checklist that you're able to check off. You've packed everything, you have everything that you need. You have a good idea of whether or not the facility offers Wi-Fi, you know. Do they also offer electrical outlets? Do you have a backup phone charger? Things like that. A tablet, a computer, just whatever you need, make sure that you have it all. You may even need to have your own personal speakers. Don't leave anything to the vendor to provide. Make sure that you have it all available for yourself, right? The other thing when it comes to preparing in advance is to make sure you have a good idea of the number of people who will actually be at the event. One thing that you don't want to do is to actually run out of product during the event, especially not early. Like, as it gets closer to the end of the event, great if you run out of product. But if it's the first hour in and this is a 5-hour event and you run out of product, that may mean that you just didn't pack or prepare enough. So make sure that you prepare in advance for that also. The last P that we're gonna focus on, which is the seventh P, is to promote. You wanna promote the event in advance, and you wanna promote the event on the actual day of the event. When it comes to promoting in advance, I advise that people generally promote 30 days in advance. That means telling people the dates, the times, the location, what door they may need to go in, so on and so forth. Make it clear, make it easy for people to actually come and visit the event and to support you and to support all the other people who are actually there at the event. 30 days in advance, I say further out, you want to promote maybe, once or twice a week. But when it's actually the week of the event, promote that event every day. And in all of your promotions, don't forget to give shout outs to the event host, to other people who will actually be there. It shows that you're actually in good company, right? And if the host has a good name, that just means that it creates what's called a halo effect for the event. It validates it for you, right? When it comes to shouting out other people, I mean, who doesn't want a network, right? The more you shout them out, the more maybe they'll support you also. It's all about creating partnerships. And then on the day of the event, feel free to take pictures of your setup, of other vendors that are actually there. Take pictures actually with those other vendors. Show yourself having a good time. Continue to invite people out. Remind them that this is the day of the event. As it gets closer toward, the middle or the end of the event, tell them how much more time they have left. Just keep promoting the event, promoting the event, promoting the event. One thing that we talk about in marketing, and as you know, I'm the owner of RRP Marketing. I've been in marketing for over 15 years now, guys. Wow, over 15 years. But the one thing that we talk about is frequency, right? And that means repeating something over and over and over again. That's the reason why you see so many commercials. So when it comes to promoting for this event, you really can't promote too much. You have to be careful about how you do it to make sure that you're just not totally overwhelming people and getting on people's nerves. But at the same time, if you find that balance, that right language, and that, hey, I'm out here and I'm doing something, people will be less annoyed by what you're doing, right? So just don't forget to promote. So I hope that was helpful. Just a quick recap. The 7 P's is product display, your sales pitch, presence, pricing, your payment options. Make sure you prepare in advance and promote in advance, right? I really, really hope this video was helpful to you. I cannot wait to see you the next time. Until then, holla at your girl. Hey.